Good evening and welcome to THFC Till I Die, the home at Tottenham, past, present, and God who knows, title challengers. Challengers for the Champions League, challengers for Goldfish United on cannabis, like Man United are, running around the pitch yesterday against Brighton. Looked like they were looking for munchies at one point. This is the show where you get to talk about all about the whole Premier League, top to bottom, left to right, whatever which way you want to look at it. But welcome, my name's Dermot, aka Dermatron. Next to me, of course, is Mr. Philip Brady, who is ready today. Is a didgeridoo, and he's a koala bear apparently, but also aka the Godfather. And down below, well, look, we've got to be nice to this man tonight. He is a very depressed, a very sad, lonely, dejected, anything. He just can't be bothered. Manchester United fan. And we've got to show him some love tonight and show him if he came over to Tottenham, he would be in a better place. But first, Philip, how are you this evening? And the end of another exciting Premier League weekend, match weekend 5.
Absolutely, and still unbeaten. It's quite amazing compared to what some of the so-called experts were predicting for us. And they know who they are, don't you, Paul Merson? I think I'm just thinking today what you were saying about Colin. I think it's a bad place to be at the minute if you're an Australian Manchester United fan. That's the best way I can put it. There's Australia just after getting beaten in the rugby by Fiji, which is quite a shock. So it just shows you can't depend on the pundits to get it right all the time.
No, and Colin, look, we are going to be kind to you. We're not going to take the Mickey out of you. We're not going to. We're not gonna upset you, but I want to show you this just to cheer you up a bit and just show you what it could be like one day. Now, there you go, Colin. How do you feel after seeing that? Do you feel inspired to go in for another week as a Man United fan?
I've had plenty of weeks of that, many times, winning titles and everything. So it must be nice getting that just after winning a game for your guys, So
look, you never won the Audi Cup. You never won the competition we won in the summer twice. And listen, we were the first non-league team to win an FA Cup. Did Man United ever do that? No, you were still playing with your train set somewhere in Manchester when Tottenham were beating Sheffield United in 1901, winning the mighty FA Cup, whereas Manchester United twiddling their thumbs playing with their dummies.
Valid point.
You said you were going to be nice to him, Dermot. That doesn't sound very nice.
It's fine.
Being nice.
As far as I can remember, let me think, since when, let's say 1992, I'm struggling to remember a lot of the trophies Spurs have won. Maybe you can remind me, Dermo.
I gotcha.
The Audi Cup, the League Cup,
the under 17 cup last season, the under 18 cup.
I don't, Philip. Yeah, we won that. Look,
I'm not hearing any Champions Leagues in there.
You just fluked it with Fergie. To be fair, you just fluked it with Fergie. That's all you did. You nearly sacked him in 1990.
We did. You're right.
And if you did sack him, you would have had a completely different history. Seriously, though, if you had sacked Fergie then, do you think you would have got the success you got?
Not a chance.
Another manager.
Not a chance.
There you go. See, it's not all rosy in the Man United garden, but look, we are going to get on about Manchester United, and that is actually the first game we'll go to. Philip, look, a very exciting weekend. We've got a lot to go through. We have Player of the Week to go through. We've got Team of the Week. We've got Wally of the Weekend. I know who that's going to. We've got your favourite segment of the show, Ref Watch.
That should take a while.
We should rename the referee the Tottenham Sheffield United game, Dildo Watch. We've got Manager Watch. Who's going to be the first one to get the sack? Ten Hag or Poch? And then VAR Cock-Up of the Week. Now, to be fair to Colin, this is between our penalty and United's equaliser.
Yeah.
To be fair, now, we will go into that. But look, we are going to go through the results, of course. And here's the first one. It's Saturday, the 16th September, match day, week 5. Manchester United 1, Brighton 3. Colin, you being the United fan, I'll let you take it away. There's the stats in front of you. Was it as bad as it sounded?
I think it was worse, to be honest with you. 20 minutes, we were great for 20 minutes. But a game isn't 20 minutes, it's 90. We were completely outplayed, outclassed. Ten Hag was completely outclassed in the managerial aspect of it as well. He's starting to frustrate me. Ten Hag is starting to frustrate me simply because obviously we know all the issues that are going off. Sancho's currently not being allowed to play. Anthony's having to disappear for a little while whilst the investigations and everything that are going off. And we've got a young player willing to come on, and he's a good player, and his name's Pellistri. But Ten Hag refuses to use him and decides to play Scott McTominay, Casemiro, and Bruno. Now, some of the stats in the game, Scott McTominay had 20 touches, 20, as a midfielder, whereas every other player in the midfield were averaging over 50 for the game. If that doesn't say that something's gone wrong with Ten Hag's system, I don't know. Something's clearly not right. Whether it's all these things that are coming out and all the things that have happened with the Glazers and the personal lives of the players and whatnot is affecting everybody else, I don't know. But yeah, we were completely outclassed by Brighton, and I'm not too shocked, to be honest with you. Brighton are a really, really good side, so I'm not going to take anything away from them at all. I think Dermo's gone.
Oh, I'm back.
He's back.
So you mentioned Glazers, and it just my PC goes funny.
Yeah. But I'm not blaming this on the Glazers. This result goes on Ten Hag. I'm not blaming the Glazers.
Really? I mean, Philip, you look at Mark Gorbridge. Now he's blaming it on the Glazers. He's saying it needs to be sorted out from the top to trickle down to the bottom. Now we all know Man United at Old Trafford used to be a fortress. Philip, but look at their passes: 661 to United's 497, touches 808 to 65, 8 shots on target, 10 shots altogether. I mean, have you ever seen worse stats or a worse start to a Man United Premier League season under any manager since Fergie?
Well, not that I would follow the stats that closely, but from what I'm hearing about yesterday, that's the 4th time running Brighton have beaten United, which is something I thought I'd never say, because Brighton were always regarded as one of those teams, like a yo-yo team, up and down the Championship and back. I'll tell you, they're no longer a yo-yo team. Brighton are a team nobody wants to play at the moment, because the style of football they've got is absolutely riveting to watch. Must be very, very difficult to play against as well. And when you see that they can leave Evan Ferguson on the bench at scoring a hat-trick, he doesn't even make the team for this game. It just shows you the depth of their squad, which have been put together at literally a fraction of what other teams have spent on players, aka Chelsea, who, and look where they are. I mean, Brighton have got to be admired for a lot of things. Their style of football is brilliant. The way they've set their side up is superb, and they're running of the club. Their way of identifying talent like they have done is just second to none. So, I mean, I feel sorry. I mean, I don't think Brighton would have beaten any team yesterday in the Premiership, and I put Manchester City in that bracket as well. I think they are that good. And now the only drawback I'm going to have for them this summer, this winter, they've never been in Europe before, and that's going to be a drain on them playing, 2 matches a week. So we'll see how that affects them. But fair dues to Brighton, and I mean, as for blaming the Glazers, you can't blame the Glazers for actual misplaced pass on the pitch. But what you do blame them for is the whole atmosphere that must be around the club at the moment. No one knows what's happening. The uncertainty is affecting everybody. And the sooner that's sorted out for United, the better, because as it stands at the moment, they're not looking like a team that's going to do very well. And also with Bayern Munich coming up on Wednesday night, can't be looking forward to that.
And it's also, Philip, look, we'll big up to Jazz Jones. He says, put your money on Robert De Zerbi being the next Man United manager. And Stephen Thomas as well. Big up, Stephen. Welcome. He said, it seems that the players fall out with Ten Hag too easily. And Philip, before I go to column on that, you got the Harry Maguire problem, you've got the Sancho problem, you've got the Anthony problem, you did have the Greenwood problem. The house that Fergie built at United was full on discipline and on respectfulness and values. Man United don't seem to be Man United, and could they be in a fight for relegation this season? Now, look, no team's too good to go down, Philip. But could they be around that sort of bottom half of the table, do you think, this season?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I think United will get it together. They will. It's just a matter of time. They will get it together. I don't see them maybe. I'd say maybe there could be a struggle to get into the top 4 or 5, but I certainly don't see them any lower than about 7th or 8th. I can see them having a season like we had last season. Frustrating to beat the band and just missing out on Europe. But you've got Europe to look forward to, which is more than we have. So no, I think Ten Hag will get it right eventually, but a lot will depend on the Glazers coming out and say, "Listen, we're selling, or we're not selling, or we're doing this, or we're doing that." The discipline, Fergie must be wishing he could go into that dressing room for 5 minutes and have a word with them, because I'd say if he did that, there'd be discipline would come back into that club. It just seems unfortunate that there's been so many incidences, all affecting the one club, and the Greenwood one starting it, and now the Anthony thing and Sancho not talking to the manager. I just don't know where the solution is. Now, if as your man said, the players fall out with Ten Hag too easily, or vice versa, that's something that has to be nipped in the bud quick. I mean, I'm going to use Spurs as an example here. Look at the team spirit that Ange has instilled in Tottenham in about 2 months. You know, that's Spurs as a beacon now for the way that's been generated.
Yeah. Big up to Jack joining us as well. Big up Jack as well. Me as brothers. I hope you're well, Jack, this evening. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about Man United Brighton, the 3-1 win for Brighton. And Colin, I've got a question for you, a special question I put aside for you. What was your thought on that result yesterday? Were you surprised United got beaten so easily? And were you more impressed with Brighton's win, or were you more worried about the way Man United lost it? Jack, that's to you.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, sorry I'm late into the chat, guys.
That's okay.
Nice to see you all. I think that it's more of a testament to how things are going at Man United. It's more of a issue with how things are at Man United at the moment, to be honest with you. Obviously, I haven't actually seen any of the highlights of the game, unfortunately, or watched the game. But from the result and looking at what you've put up on the screen, it seems to me that there seems to be a lot of issues within the Man United camp at the moment, and obviously Brighton they're a very good team, and they play the way they play. They play with the high intensity and the high press, and you know they go at teams in a way that sort of like Tottenham do in a way, and Man United seem to be sort of crumbling really at the moment. It doesn't seem to be like something's definitely not right within the camp at the moment. So,
yeah, I mean, Jack's spot on when he says that there's something not right, Colin, within the Man United camp. Look, we all know Man United got problems financially. We all know they've got problems in the boardroom. We all know got players falling out with Ten Hag, left, right, and centre. And as Philip said, you get Fergie 5 minutes within that dressing room. Discipline would let me take that down. Would return to Old Trafford, I think, as quick as anything. Do you feel that they're missing a Fergie type manager, or do you think now it's just gone beyond that? It's just Glazers. United is rotten to the core, and that's no disrespect to your club, Colin. I'm just calling it as I see it. Are United rotten to the core that it has to have a complete build up from the bottom up?
United are rotten to the core, 100%. But I don't think it's a case of not having a Fergie type, because Ten Hag is a very, very strict person. He's a very strict person. And I think the issue is the last couple of times we've had managers in, they've been wanting to be the best friends with the players. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a prime example. He wants to be best friends with everybody. And the players have got used to that. And now we've got a disciplinarian in where if you step out of line, you will get called out for it, privately and publicly if needs be. I mean, just look at Sancho. You know, he came out publicly against Ten Hag, and now he's not playing in the squad because that's what Ten Hag is. Ten Hag's here and he's making a very clear statement. I'm not your friend. I am your boss. And I don't think the players like it. They really don't. But I'm hoping, really hoping that Rashford gets dropped from the next game. I really do.
Yeah.
Because I know we had this whole discussion. I said he's got a chance of being top goal scorer, this and that. But the amount of times he should have passed the ball, and what did he do? The same thing I've said before, which annoys me the most. Gets his head down, runs into a blocked off alley, and then takes ridiculous shots from stupid angles when an easier pass is on, which we probably could have scored from.
Philip, to end on this, I'll let you end on these ones because you are the voice of reason and the experience of us all with football. That's not to be meant to be rude, by the way, because I take your insight into the game very seriously, and I love listening to your experience. Look, you watched a lot of football, watched a lot of Man United in the 70s when they were struggling, went down, came up again, then on the Fergie. We all watched the Fergie years with jealousy at Spurs, and Jack and me and you, we all there praying for Man United to lose every game. Have you ever seen a United more at a low ebb, Philip, in all your years following football than you see them now?
The only time I've seen them like this, really, I'm sure there have been occasions where they haven't been as good as they should be. It was back in '73 when they got relegated, and Dennis Law backheeled the ball into the back of the net for Man City to relegate his old club. That must be one of the most poignant goals ever scored in the history of football. I think United will rise above it. You know, I think they will. It might not be this season, but they will get it right eventually, especially when the ownership thing is sorted out. I think that's one of the main reasons that things are not chipper in the club at the minute. It's the Glazers. And the fans aren't happy. When the fans aren't happy, it transmits itself over to the team. And that's why, this thing about booing players last season, I was so anti-booing players because you're trying to encourage your team and you boo them. They're not going to be encouraged. Imagine yesterday, for example, at Spurs, if the fans had turned on the team at 1-0 down, going into injury time, would we have scored the 2 goals we did? Probably not. So United will get it right. It'll probably take a while, but the ownership thing is absolutely crucial to it. And I think Ten Hag he is a good manager. There is no doubt about it. And as Colin rightly said, he's not trying to be all things to all men. He's being a bit of a disciplinarian, which Fergie was as well. Yeah. So he's following in his master's footsteps there. They will get it right, but I would just ask United fans to be patient. Be patient, and it will come back.
Yeah. Just a quick thing. Man United's next game is against Burnley. United now have lost 3 out of the last 5 games, which have lost the last 2 in the bout. So they're next to Burnley. And Brighton, of course, have won 4 out of the last 5. They won the last 2, and their next game is against Bournemouth. So, do you know, really, they will. And I think United might struggle against Burnley, but we'll get your thoughts at that column at the end of the game. Also, big up to Colin. He's been a member for Madders membership for 7 months as well. So thank you so much, Colin. Really appreciate your support. And of course, this is being shown jointly on the Full-Time Sports Network, our partner channel, of course, of THFC Till I Die, who Colin's been a part of. And just quickly, Colin, thank you for all the help you've given me over the last few days with thumbnails and helping me and what you're going to do next week with me as well. So thank you so much for that. Me and Philip really appreciate it.
So yeah, good.
Big up 7 months. Thank you so much. We've got Jazz Jones here. He's saying Man United 2 home wins cover over the cracks. They beat Wolves 1-0 when Wolves had a blatant penalty and they were 2-0 down against Fries for a bit as well. So, I think this United will rumble this season, guys. Right, the next game we're going to, and Jack, I'm going to start off with you, is, of course, is Fulham 1, Luton 0. A bit of a derby here. Well, not a bit of a derby, but because Luton, the whipping boys, here is, let me put you up the top there, Jack, so people can see you. They don't mind not seeing me, but they got to see you. There, the stats there. Jack, it looks like Fulham sort of dominated a little bit, but Luton did quite well. 7 shots on target out of 2. They got 2 shots on target each. But really, Luton are the whipping boys of the league, aren't they? To be fair.
Yeah, I was sort of having this conversation with my son actually, because he's only 7, but he's very, very knowledgeable in football, and we was having a little chat about it. And I think Luton Town, like you say, like the whipping boys, and we're sort of like, they're going to be like odds on to go down, but I think they're just going to enjoy the season. That the fact that they're going to have like the likes of like Erling Haaland turning up at their ground and having like big teams going there, and I think they're going to just enjoy that as fans and not really be like too concerned into, well, obviously like they want to win games, but I think that they're going to be like more enjoying the fact that they're going to have to travel to big teams and be able to have all these superstars at their ground and enjoy it in that way. Whereas I think it's like inevitably, I think as fans they're going to be realistic in the fact that they most likely will go down, but they're going to enjoy the season for the fact that they're going to have all of that at a tiny club like that. It's absolutely, like I was saying to my son, I think it's absolutely amazing that they're going to have all that. So yeah, it's I mean that by the stats, like they done pretty well, but like you say, that they're gonna be the whipping boys. I'm hoping personally that they don't be the team that gets relegated with 10 games left to go. I'd like to see them sort of like pick up a bit and maybe do a little bit better, but. Yeah, that's sort of my view on with Luton Town, and Fulham are a bit had a bit of a Fulham have won the game, only 1-0, so they haven't like rolled over, so they might be just adjusting a little bit more to the level of the Premier League, and they haven't took a whipping, have they, at Fulham?
No, not really, Jack. And Colin, look, Luton, of course, have lost the last 4 on the bounce. Fulham, of course, 2 wins, 2 defeats, and a draw at the last 5 games. We know Fulham are going to be thereabouts this season, but are you surprised Fulham only won 1-0? And is that more of a good result for Luton than it is more of a good result for Fulham?
I think this is a fantastic, even though they lost, I think it's a fantastic result for Luton, to be honest with you. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are expecting Fulham to give them a bit of a spanking, to be honest with you. I mean, credit to Luton. They did play well. Unfortunately, obviously, they didn't get any points from the game. But with the players that they have, because you got to remember, they haven't really done good business in this summer window at all, and 90% of the players are the players that were playing in the Championship, so there is that adjustment period anyway. It's a massive step and a massive challenge to play Premiership football compared to what it is Championship football. Now, that's not me demeaning the Championship at all. The Championship's a very good competitive league. It's a very, very tough league, but the standard of quality between the two is massive. I think if they're wanting to fight a little bit harder, I think January is going to be important. They need to bring in 1 or 2 signings, people like, I don't know, like your Ashley Youngs and stuff like that, your more experienced seasoned Premier League players, which can help guide the players that they currently have to, grind out some results.
Yeah. I mean, Philip, look, Luton, of course, bottom of the league with no points. But if you go from, say, Chelsea 14th down to Luton, there's only 5 points between them. So, you could actually go up to Fulham from really 9th to bottom, 7 points between 9th and 20th. So, I mean, Luton's next game's against Wolves, and Wolves are not in a great run either. So,
no.
Was this really a 6-pointer really early in the season, Philip, for both teams? And can you see?
No, I don't think so. I think the 6 pointers for Luton are going to be against the likes of Burnley and Sheffield United, the two teams that came up with them. I think they're the ones that are going to. They're the ones that are going. Now, don't forget, Luton are playing Spurs in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
So let's hope they haven't improved too much by then. But I get the feeling that, as everyone's saying, they are going to enjoy their season in the league. I don't think they're going to survive. I don't think no matter what they do. And the quandary they're going to have in January was, say that they're 10 or 15 points behind everybody else come the transfer window in January. Do they want to spend money on maybe a hopeless effort to stay up and be lumbered with high wage players when they go back down to the Championship? So it's kind of a quandary. They're going to do. I know they get money when they back down. But they need to balance it off, as Colm says. Get players, nearly experienced players like Ashley Young or ones at the end of their career who might be able to help them, but won't actually break them financially. But it's great. I mean, it's romantic to see a team like Luton up there. When you go into the away end through somebody's living room, it's quite it's nice to see it. And I think they will surprise a couple of teams once they get their act together. But as long as it's not us, I don't really care who they surprise.
I think they might surprise Man United. I think I could see a win at Old Trafford there happening.
It wouldn't surprise me.
The mighty Luton going up to Old Trafford, United fighting for their lives, and Ten Hag growing hair because Man United keep losing. And Colum's going to come back once United start winning if we don't do well. He's already chucked the League Cup at me already, Philip, in the background.
Yeah, okay.
But all I can say is, Jack can back me up. You never won the Audi Cup. We did.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You can keep your Audi Cup. We'll take our Champions League trophies. You keep your Audi League Cup.
Well, who wants a Champions League trophy? The Audi Cup's the main trophy.
I do. We'll keep moving. Come on.
You're in the minority here, Philip. Me and Jack were happy with the Audi Cup.
Well, I've got an Audi as well, so that's even better. So I just love it, mate.
There you go. We've got Colin Turner. Big up, Colin. This is Luton that are similar to Sheffield United will not over create. Do you want to read this one out, Philip? Sorry.
They're not over create, but they work hard, but it's about quality. It is. Answer this question now. How many of the Luton team that started yesterday have you heard of before, really?
None.
Very few, if anything.
Yeah.
Well, unless you watch Championship football, you're not going to really know any of them.
So that's where they're going to fall down. It's a huge step up. Huge step.
Yeah, but no disgrace to the Championship. That's a tough league to get out of. And if you get out of there, you deserve to be in the team. Yeah.
But you know what I can't understand is this, right? This is maybe someone can answer this. You see the way the winners of the Premiership or the Championship get a trophy, right? How the hell does the team that wins the playoff get a trophy as well? They didn't finish second; they finished third. It's funny one, isn't it? There's a trophy for first and third, but nothing for second.
Well, maybe Philip, you can make them one.
Oh yeah, true, yeah.
I've still got to pick up my cockerel off you yet too. By the way,
that's true.
I think out of the three teams that got promoted, like Sheffield United's performances, haven't gained them many points, but they've sort of they've been quite unlucky within their games. I think that they're. Out of the three teams that have come up, I think that they're one of the most likely that could stay up if they once they start to adjust a little bit better, because I feel like they're a lot more well drilled. Whereas Burnley are trying to play the same football they played in the Championship, but they're not going to get away with that at this level, as shown when we played them. Obviously, they conceded 5 there, so and that could happen several times over the season if they're going to continue to try and play the same way they played in the Championship. So they're going to need to adjust in some way in the way they're playing, because they ain't going to be able to do that at this level. I don't think with the same as what Colin said, like, with no disrespect to the Championship, because it's a very difficult league to play in, and there's a lot of games. But I just think that out of the 3 teams, I feel that Sheffield United are actually one that I feel could potentially stay up out of the 3.
But both Burnley and Sheffield United have recent Premiership experience as well. They've been a bit of yo-yo teams for the last few years. So Burnley are up and down like a yo-yo. Right. Sheffield United were there a couple of seasons ago. Luton don't. Luton have a player playing for them who actually played for them when they were in non-league 5 or 6 years ago. You think of that? That's an incredible journey, isn't it? Really, it's romantic. And that, it really is.
That's based on the question, Philip. On this, I mean, everyone, it's really a yes or no, really question. Based on the results so far, will the 3 promoted clubs go straight down again? I'm going to agree with Jack. I'm going to go no. I think Everton will go down.
I'd say 2 of them might go down, but I don't think that. I think Sheffield United will stay up.
Yeah,
Burnley,
Colin?
I'm worried about.
Colin?
No, I don't think all 3 of them will go down.
No. And of course, Jack, you said that Sheffield United would stay, but do we all agree? Do you think it will be Everton will be that team that will go down? There's a few people in the chat saying that. Jazz Jones saying Everton have played 5 and scored 2 no goals at home. I think they will go down over Burnley. I think we would all probably agree on that. Colin Turner says, previous clubs coming up from the Championship have bought a lot of players when promoted. Luton, I assume, though, finances haven't done that. And that's the thing, isn't it, Philip? Luton are not a big club. They are a big club to Luton fans, but they're not as big as, say, like a Burnley, or because they have been financially hit. They have been down to the non-league, so they haven't got the backing. And also, they've had to spend £10 million on upgrading their stadium to Premier League standards as well. Yeah. So that's 10 million where that could have gone towards transfers. It's had to go on the stadium. So he makes a very good point there. And also Stephen Thomas says it's a free hit for Luton. And I sort of agree with that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just going to ask about oh God, I lost it. I lost what I was going to say. I'll go and carry on. It'll come back.
Yeah, if it comes back to you.
Yeah.
Right. Now we're going to Molineux, of course, and Liverpool. Let me just swip that. Sorry, Colin, I don't mean to put you at the bottom.
No, it's fine. I ain't got a camera on, so it's all right.
Yeah. So sorry about that. Now we've got Wolves 1, Liverpool 3. Now, Philip, before we did our watch along yesterday, the first words out of your gob were Liverpool, the lucky son of a guns. That's putting it politely, what you said. Yeah. And if you look at
down at that time.
Yeah. Now I read somewhere, somebody said somewhere yesterday, Klopp should have got slaughtered up first half, but credit for the second half. Would you sort of agree with that segment that Klopp got it totally wrong in the first half and then addressed it for the second half?
Yeah, he tinkered with the system at half time. He said himself, first half very bad, second half very good. He sums it up really. Wolves did not compete in the second half. They weren't let compete, but they should have been so far ahead in the first half. It shouldn't have mattered. They missed a couple of chances that I would have scored. Now there were just incredible misses. So and Liverpool were all over the place, absolutely all over the place. So whatever he said to them at half time, he must have threatened to leave and go to the Germany job or something. But they certainly responded. And Liverpool. Now I saw the first half. I didn't see all of the second half, but what I saw was. Liverpool, 3. I know that they equalised early up, and then they only scored the winner in the last 5 minutes, and another goal right near the end. But they could really have had 5 or 6 in the second half. So but Liverpool aren't a finished article by any means.
No, they're not. Now, Jack, look, we know Klopp and Liverpool, they will be there and thereabouts. Wolves have had a bit of a dodgy start to this season. Of course, they brought back Matt Doherty. Agent Doherty doing what Reggie and Ericsson are doing at United, gone to other clubs just to disrupt them and make them just worse. And we will be giving out medals to Agent Reggie and Ericsson at the end of the season for getting their missions done correctly. Do you think Column's really going to come at me one day? Really?
No, it's all right, 'cause I've got a reply to you when you come to me anyway, so it's fine.
I know you have. I'm looking forward to it, Colin. I'm looking forward to it. Do you think Wolves are going to be one of those clubs that are going to be in the middle? They're not going to go up, but they're not going to go down either.
I think. Do you know what they just lack that goal scorer. They create so many chances, and have like so many like opportunities. They just can't score goals, and that's their problem. Like they had that when they played Man United, like at the beginning of the season, and they just lack that sort of goal scorer that will get them the like maybe 15, 20 goals that they need, and that's their main issue at the moment, I think. And Liverpool changed things up for the second half, and and that I think that's been the case a couple of games. They've sort of managed to get the second half wins or like later wins. So I just think they lack a real goal scorer, and once if they was to maybe address that, they just sort of would be like within the mid table and pick up the results they need. But it's been a problem for them for a couple of seasons now with the goals. They don't really have someone that's getting them the goals that they need. They're creating the chances, they're just not putting them away. And I did remember what I was going to say.
Okay, yeah,
quickly. Go on. You were saying about Everton, and they could be the next team that goes down. They've been overtaken by that 7-7-7 the Americans.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about them. Probably I don't know if Colin would know, but are they the sort of type that's going to invest good money in them and give them the opportunity to maybe like stay in the league like during January? Or
so 777 will invest, yes. However, I will say this: they haven't been successful at any of the other clubs that they have actually invested in. None of them whatsoever.
Right. Okay. No, I wasn't too sure on the ins and outs of the ownership. So that was just what I wanted to ask about that. That's all it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And Colin, look, we know Liverpool are the arch enemies of United. We know how good Liverpool can be under Klopp. The year they won the league, that they were the best team in the land, and you can't take that away from them. Is there something wrong at Liverpool? Because this season they seem to be falling a bit flat. Do you know what I mean? They seem to be not delivering and what their full potential. Now, is that because Klopp's been there so long? Is it because they got rid of certain players? And also the Mo Salah thing that keeps rumbling on. Will he want to go to Saudi Arabia? So where do you think it's gone wrong for Liverpool, and where do you think Wolves could pick up wins this season? And do you think they will be just a mid-table team?
All right. Well, first of all, my comeback comment about your agent Reguilon, and this might actually come as a bit of a surprise, but he was probably the best player on the pitch for Manchester United yesterday.
That actually does shock me.
He was fantastic for us yesterday. He was probably the best player on the pitch. I gave him the highest rated match rating out of all United players.
I tell you one thing, Colin. Mark Goldbridge doesn't agree with you.
He's a bit of a something, isn't he? So I'll leave that there.
You leave that there.
Yeah.
Watching
Liverpool. I mean, see, it's a difficult one, Liverpool, because Klopp is a fantastic manager. He really is. Maybe people just know what Klopp's going to do, and they've all clicked onto it now. maybe it's a case of this whole midfield transition. You know, they haven't got the likes of Henderson and Milner and Fabinho, and they haven't got those players anymore. So they're trying to readapt and stuff. It could be that it's a mixture of things at Liverpool, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't see Wolves finishing mid-table. I think they're going to be in the relegation fight at end of the season. Because because they haven't got a goal scorer. You can't stay up in the league if you're not scoring goals and winning games. Yeah, you can draw games, you can grind out 0-0s, but they'll only get you so far.
Yeah,
it takes a couple of teams to win. But I mean, I think Wolves should beat Luton and probably should beat, Burnley and Sheffield United, and I think that's where they'll get their points from.
Yeah,
but I struggle to see where they're going to pick up many points from at all this season.
Yeah, I mean, Philip, we've got here Stephen Thomas. We've got Jazz Jones saying, well, Jazz Jones first said, thank God we didn't sign Ross Barkley in the end. Had Chelsea done us a favour? So he's having a little giggle there. And he's right to giggle at Chelsea. We should all laugh at Chelsea. Jazz Jones, Wolves have had a tough run of fixtures through Man United, Brighton, Liverpool. That's probably true, Philip, in a way. They have had a tough start to the season. But this one here, this is the one I want you to come on, Philip. Another problem for Wolves is that the board don't seem to invest in the club anymore. Tough season ahead. Now, Wolves were great under Nuno, and then they haven't invested in the team. Do you think that's a problem? Or do you think that's a Premier League problem, that they can't compete with players because of the transfer market's gone haywire?
The Wolves, it's a problem with the board. They lost their manager before the season started. Lopetegui, whatever you call it. He walked out of the club basically because the board wouldn't back him. So that was an absolute warning sign to what's going to happen to Wolves this season. I think Wolves will struggle. At times they look very, very good, but they haven't replaced man Jimenez as a striker. No. The guy they've got from Brazil now would be Richarlison's understudy for Brazil. And watching him yesterday, the words barn door and 2 yards come into play. He couldn't hit one. So, that they are going to struggle. Whether this Gary O'Neill's the manager now, isn't he? Gary O'Neill's the manager.
He is, yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, he came in with 10 minutes notice of the season started. He has no time to work with the team to get his ideas across. Maybe he'll get them across. But, yeah, I do see Wolves struggling. I don't know will they be relegated. I think they'll probably avoid it, but they're going to be in maybe from number 15 down. That's the kind of position they're going to be in. And it's not going to be a good season for their fans, I don't think.
No, it isn't.
The thing is when the manager come in, what's his name, Philip, the one that come in, the
Gary
O'Neill. No,
left.
Yeah, see, when he come in though, they spent quite a lot of money at the time when he come in, so he was quite demanding on wanting to spend a lot of money at the time, and then when it come to as far as I'm aware, because I've read into it, like when he come in, he got quite a lot of players in and spent quite a bit of money, and that money was then taken probably from the summer budget, so it left them in a position where they'd sort of backed him when he wanted it, and then he wanted more backing, but the funds that were available had already sort of been spent when he had come in, so they were we're not going to keep, we can't keep spending 30 million on one player, another 50, 30 on 40 on this and that's where I think the problem lied with that. Why he walked? That's why he walked, because they weren't willing to then invest any more, because a lot of the budget had already been spent when he come in. That's as far as I'm aware. So that's where the problem lied in the summer, where they didn't get many players in, or a few in at like cheaper rates or free transfers, because so much money had been spent when that guy was in.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, actually. I want to say big up to Mr. EE. Says, hey, Dermotron, Philip, and go. Coys, he also says, great finish to the match yesterday. Gutsy spirit from the team. Good changes tactically from Ange. And says, so great to see Richie scoring. We are going to talk about the Tottenham game in a minute. So don't worry, Mr. EE. It's on its way. And we've got Daniela Zito. Big up, Daniela. She says, good evening, panel. Panel on Sky today. So biased towards Arsenal. Coys, we are beating the scum next weekend. I tell you what, Daniela, I'm putting this up. No, I'm putting this up for you. I'm going to do this for you. Here he is. This is Mr. Lego Man here. We are going to go to your place next week. We're going to give you a wedgie. Run away with your lunch. Take your lunch money, 3 points, all the way back to White Hart Lane. And you're going to be sitting on the side of your stadium crying your eyes out because that's what we will make you do. So there you go. That's for you, Daniela. That's what we are going to do next Sunday at 2:00. Now, guys, we're moving on to the next game, and which for me is a sort of a dead sort of a team really. Palace, Villa 3, Palace 1. There is the stats there, guys. Philip, I'll start with you. It says, where do you see? Look, we all know Crystal Palace are going to be thereabouts in the mid-table. Where do you see Aston Villa finishing this season? They've seemed to have a funny start to the season, haven't they? And I mean, if you look at their last run now, Aston Villa now, they've won 3 and lost 2 out the last 5. Now they play Chelsea next. So where do you see Villa? They're 7th at the moment. Do you think that's where they're going to finish?
I think Villa will be 6th or 7th. Yeah, I think Villa will have a good season. They've got a good manager, even though he did manage the scrum. He is a good manager. But I'll tell you one thing, they left it late yesterday. They were losing 1-0 to the 88th minute. Scored 3 goals in injury time. They were a bit like us. You know, they only came alive near the end of the game. So, no, Villa are a decent side. They had a good season last season. They will continue. They've got some decent players. Ollie Watkins is a good player. And John McGinn. And that guy they bought in the centre back, I forget his name now, he's a very good player. So, yeah, I can see Villa keeping it up. And the fact that, again, they came back from the dead last night shows you that they've got a bit of spirit about them. Palace, I think, are a bit unlucky. But if you look at the passes, I mean, Palace had literally 50% of the passes that Villa had. And 29 clearances against 8. So it just shows you where the pressure was on most of the game, was on the Palace defence. And they held out until near the end. And they're missing Wilfried Zaha, though. That's one big thing they're missing.
Yeah.
Villa top 6. Crystal Palace will be mid-table.
Yeah. Colin, Palace, look, they're 8th in the league. They've won 2, lost 2, and drawn 1 out of the last 5 games to play Fulham next. Do you agree with Philip? Looks like mid-table for Palace.
Yeah, I think Palace fans are happy with mid-table as well, you know. And I just want to say as well, Roy, I hope you get better soon, because I know he's not very well at the moment as well.
I haven't heard anything. What's that, Colin? Sorry, I missed that.
He's just not well at the moment. Apparently, he wasn't at the game yesterday due to illness. They've not released exactly what it is. So just hoping he gets better soon.
Is that Roy Hodgson?
Yeah, Roy Hodgson.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that. Oh, nice. Okay.
All right. Well,
it might just be something simple, like it might just be like, you know, he's got cold or something like that. But it could be. We don't know. They've not released it. But yeah, Palace, I think, you know, 10th, 11th this season. Yeah. Villa, I'd say probably about 6th or 7th.
Now, Jack, look, of course, all of us send our best wishes to Roy Hodgson for a speedy recovery. A manager, Philip, very quickly before I come to you, Jack, who's been everywhere and anywhere. He really has been the man that's been around, hasn't he? He's been at World Cups and everything. Jack, very quickly to you. Do you think Crystal Palace are going to miss Roy Hodgson's experience? Do you know, he seemed to be the man that could keep Palace on the straight and narrow. Do you think they're going to miss his experience the next few games while he's away?
I do. I've got a lot of respect and time for Roy Hodgson. I think he's he's shown throughout his career that he's definitely a very talented manager. When he come in towards the tail end of last season, he done really well with Palace. I think they will miss him being there. I think and I'll also wish him a speedy recovery. I think that Palace, I think they're gonna just like sort of Colin said, they're gonna once he gets better, hopefully as soon as possible. I think Palace will be like mid-table. They're happy with that. And they often sometimes pick up the odd result that you wouldn't expect them to pick up, and I think Roy's a great manager. So yeah, I'll go with them sort of finishing mid-table. Yeah, Villa. I think Villa's manager, when he was at Arsenal, he was showing so much disrespect and taking the mick out of when he spoke and things like that. But he is a very, very good manager. But I think that when they start to play in Europe, that may affect the positioning of where they finish within the Premier League. So I'm a little bit like up and down on that. I don't think I've got an inkling that once they start playing the European games, and then I think it's Thursday, Sundays they'll be playing. So that does sort of affect as we've seen other teams, and it could have a detrimental effect on their finish within the Premier League. We'll have to wait and see, but that's my sort of opinion on that.
No, it's a good opinion, Philip. Could you answer Daniela's question here? Any reason why the North London Derby was selected to be an earlier kickoff? I have an idea why, but I don't know if you have some ideas, mate. Earlier kickoff on Sunday, as Sheffield United versus Newcastle is 4:30. I thought the North London Derby should be a later kickoff.
There's one word, the reason for this. It's called drink. The pubs don't open till late on the Sunday, if I'm correct in England. Colin, you can correct me on that. They don't want to allow too much drinking time. It's the same as Celtic Rangers. Celtic Rangers matches always kick off at midday, so the boys can't be on the piss for 2 or 3 hours before the match. If you've got a 4:30 kickoff, the boys are in the pub from 12 o'clock, and it creates an atmosphere, and the police don't like that. So I'd say that's because it's played early. It's a crowd safety thing, and it's to keep the boys out of the pub until after the match at least. So
yeah. So that's the reason. And then we've got Dan Davenport, big up Dan. He says, was Vieira given enough time when he was Palace manager? Very quickly, Jack, was he given enough time, do you think?
I think that he sort of started off pretty well, but I'm a little bit 50-50 on that one, to be honest, Dermot. I'm not too sure how I feel about that.
Right.
I think he done some good stuff there, and he had quite a young team, a lot of changes, and he done okay. But obviously, they made their decision that they wasn't happy with it. But I'm a little bit 50-50 on that. I'm not too sure how I feel whether he was given enough time or not, to be honest with you.
Anyone else want to answer that? Was he given enough time, guys? Colm or
he's ex-Arsenal, so I really don't give a toss about him, to be honest.
That's a great answer.
That was quality, Philip.
Colm, do you have a word, do you know?
I think he was given enough time. You got to think football's a results-driven business, and he wasn't getting the results. So, he had enough time to get the team going, and it didn't go. So, yeah.
Go on here, Philip. You haven't done this for a while. This is always your. Go on, get the voice ready. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Didn't realize we had Karma in our squad. We never stop.
No, we don't.
Karma, is that Chris Kamara you're talking about? Is it?
Yeah. Hang on. Was that a goal, Jeff? Did they score? That I'll never forget that when
Oh, no,
Jeff
was
goes
that
over.
sending off? I must have missed that.
Yeah, was that? I
Yeah,
must have
and
missed
Christian
that.
Ryan, fair dues to me, he was a great character. I really miss him on
Yeah.
Sky now. He really was one of the good guys.
He's not well at the moment. He's got some
No,
speech.
he's not. No, he's not.
No, I do.
Speech
I miss him. I must admit, I miss him and Jeff Stelling on Sky. It hasn't been the same.
Yeah.
since
I mean,
him
it's not the same
and-
without him. No, it's not.
And it's not the same without the guys that were there before. What's all them guys that got
Smiley
sacked?
Nicholas and your man Phil Thompson.
Phil Thompson.
Yeah, and Matt Letizia.
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to
And
be.
they kept the only plonker amongst the four in Merson.
I know. I tell you, Chris Morrison, right? He's the
Yeah.
only Irish player that goes on and
Clinton
speaks
Morrison.
for the. Yeah,
Clinton Morrison.
yeah. Clinton Morrison. It's the only fella,
Yeah.
Irish fella, right, that goes on and he speaks with a proper London accent. I mean, I can't. No disrespect to him. When he goes on the telly, I turn off. I can't stand him. I just think he speaks waffle. He just
The only good thing about Sky lately, Dermot, is at least they now have Michael Dawson in, so at least we have a bit of a representation on the panel on Saturday.
That's true.
Yeah.
And Wayne says if the North London Derby was a late kickoff on Sunday, then it would have kicked off. I'm in full agreement with the early kickoff. Yes,
there'd be war. It'd be mayhem.
Yeah.
It'd be mayhem.
And Danielle says apparently Leicester is back for the North London Derby. Hopefully Bentancur is back for Chelsea in November the 6th. Now, that game I'm going to on November 6th. Me and Dave are going to that, and apparently it's a Monday night kickoff, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, so me and David will be ducking and diving when we're over there. Right, guys. Now we're going to the best match of the weekend. Sorry, Colin. Sorry, I don't mean to bore you now for the next 20 minutes. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Sheffield United 1. And Colin, we're going to start with you. What a match. What a team. Let me take off the thing there. This is the stats of the game. And Colin, did you just look at that match and just look in envy what we have and what Man United could be?
I look at that match, Dermot, and I think very, very lucky Spurs. That's what I think.
Oh, no. I'm not.
Yes, you were fantastic. Don't get me wrong. You were fantastic. The play and everything was fantastic. But you were lucky. You were 1-0 down, and it took you to extra time to get the win. I thought Sheffield United deserved the point.
Fergie time. It's Fergie time.
Yeah, Fergie time. It was definitely Fergie time.
It's now called Angie time.
Angie time. Ange time, yeah. Honestly, I feel Sheffield United can feel a little bit hard done by. Obviously, the better team did win. You can see the stats there that the better team did win because you were fantastic.
In what way did Sheffield United feel hard done by? They caused their own defeat.
They defended so hard. Like, they literally just threw everything at it just to try and keep hold of that victory. And obviously, you got a point. And then as soon as that first goal went in, you could just see the floodgates were going to open because they just heads went down. They lost all confidence. But I mean, out of all the teams that have come up, especially like this weekend, I think Sheffield United can walk away with their heads held high because, I mean, you know, I've seen United play at Spurs this season already. Spurs are a very, very difficult team to play against, and I think Sheffield United did very well to keep it 1-0 for as long as what they actually did.
Just very quickly, Jack and Philip and myself and all Spurs fans watching, this was a picture taken at the game yesterday of the Sheffield United goalkeeper. And now, apparently, this is what he was doing during the match, apparently. So, look, he had his picnic out there. He was sitting down on the ground. He was going to go for a bit of a snooze. Philip, I mean, what do you reckon to that? I mean, look at that. I
think he's the luckiest player to be still on the pitch because he got booked. Yeah. He possibly should have been sent off in the first half for carrying the ball outside the area. But there's one time in the second half where he took off his gloves, right? He walked over to the touchline as if he was being substituted, then put his gloves back on and walked back to the goal. That took about 2 minutes, and the referee stood looking at him. I mean, I know Sheffield United complained bitterly about the bound of injury time that was played, but they were the complete reason it was 12 minutes because they did so much obvious time wasting. It wasn't even surreptitious and not acute time wasting. It was blatantly obvious. That's why they got punished. That's why they lost the game. And Paul Higginbottom now has probably walked himself into an FA charge for what he said about the referee last night. Now, We know the referee was crap. He was absolutely ridiculous. There wasn't a bad tackle in the match, and there was 13 yellow cards. You know, but that being said, the extra time was totally justified. And okay, Sheffield United can say they were hard done by. They weren't really. It's just it took Spurs a bit longer to score than we should have done.
Yeah. Wayne Bonner says, "Whoa, Dermot, you and Dave Harris are going to the Chelsea home. I'm waiting to find out if I have a ticket. Well, I hope you're there, Wayne. Say hello to you, Mr. Bonner." We've got Daniel says we've got Palace away on Friday, and it's a late kick-off, 8 p.m. I think Crystal Palace is a little bit different then to a North London derby, to be fair, Daniela.
South London derby.
Stephen Thomas says the ref was shocking, 12 yellow and 1 red. We are going to speak about the ref. Philip knows. Yesterday, Philip, I gave him dogs lots of abuse.
Yeah, I was giving him a pass up to a point, and then I had to agree with you.
I'd love to. I told you to take off your rose-tinted glasses at one point, Philip. I really did. We all know
how much trying to be a bit fairer than I usually am, you know.
No, you love refereeing.
I'll say one thing, though. Just one thing about that goalkeeper again. I do believe that some Spurs fans got on social media afterwards and gave him a lot of racial abuse, which is a no. Not good, lads. No. Don't ever go there.
No,
don't ever go there.
That I won't accept. That done. Wayne Bonner, I was at the game yesterday. The ref was a beep disgrace. Yeah, their keeper was lucky to stay on the pitch with his time wasting. Yeah, and he says, and that's for taking his gloves off every time he wanted to act like he was injured. I have a few choice words for those two. Yeah. Jack, look, you look at that there, 70 possession out of 29, 10 shots on target, 28 shots in total, 10 on target, 833 touches, 620 passes, 17 tackles to 22, 5 clearances to 34 to Sheffield United, 15 corners to 2. We had 2 offsides, 6 yellow cards, no red card, and we conceded only 13 fouls. How did you feel from minute 90 to minute 110? I mean, where were you when Kulu got that winner? Were you? Philip nearly ran out of the house. I think he was doing a knee slide across his sitting room floor. I was jumping all over the place. The missus looked at me, thought, right, I need to ring up Care Doc to take him to the local loony hospital up in Newcastle. Colin was probably in tears, thinking, why can my team not play like that? And what were you thinking? I know you're watching it with Mia. You must have been jumping all over the place.
Dermot, I went absolutely mental that I lost my voice, right? And my boys, one of my boys is right into football, and he was just like looking at me like, what the hell? I stopped for a minute because I couldn't talk, I couldn't celebrate no more. And then I started going mental again. And then by the time I read them a bedtime story, I had the most croakiest, nearly silent voice. And they was like, your voice sounds a bit funny. And I was like, yeah, I think I celebrated a bit too much. And it still sounds a little bit croaky today. I went absolutely mental. I went absolutely berserk. Like, really, there's a difference between being 2-0 up at half time and winning a game and winning a game like that. So, yeah, I went absolutely mental. I've got a lot to say on the game, so we'll get into it. So, but for the actual, yeah, I went absolutely mental, Dermot. If you'd have saw me, mate, you'd have put me in that ass.
I think I'll be joining you. Yeah, we are going to do the post-match tomorrow, Jack. So if you are around, we'll get you on for that, definitely.
Well, yeah, what time is it, mate?
4:00. If you're around for that.
Well, it's a bit of a difficult time for me. So
yeah,
but anyway, let's get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it very quickly. Colin, look, Tottenham now second, 4 wins and a draw, 13 points. Now we're near enough to saying where we were last season under Conte. We've got Arsenal next, Sheffield United, of course, another defeat for them. That's their 4th defeat in 5 games. Look, how impressed have you been with Tottenham under Ange? Have you been looking, thinking, I would swap Ten Hag for Ange Postecoglou
No,
any
not a
day of the
chance.
week.
Not a
Really?
chance. Not a
Really?
chance. I will stick by Eric Ten Hag until I physically cannot do it anymore. I am not a Ten Hag out. I appreciate what Poch is doing at Tottenham, and it's absolutely fantastic watching what Poch.
Excuse me.
Sorry, not
Excuse
Poch.
me.
Sorry, not
No,
Poch.
that's not.
Postecoglou. Sorry.
Sorry. Go and wash
Sorry,
your mouth
Postecoglou.
out with soap and water.
That's
It's-
not.
it's
That's
because-
not forgivable. That's
It's
not
because
forgivable.
the Chelsea things just popped up onto my screen. That's all. A
Has he got the
news
sack?
flash.
That's
No,
an
no,
ex-
no,
That's
no.
an excuse. That's an
No.
excuse.
It's not an excuse, Gio. But no, sorry, yeah. What Postecoglou has been doing at Spurs, it's been fantastic to watch. You know, I actually do enjoy watching Tottenham games because it's exciting. It's something that I'm not currently seeing at my club, which makes a very pleasant watch anyway. But no, I wouldn't swap him for Ten Hag. Not because I don't think he's a good manager, because I'm going to back Ten Hag until, like I said, I physically can't do it anymore. I think you've got a really good chance of going somewhere this season. If not this season, definitely next season. I think the league is still slightly out of reach because Man City are just a completely different animal. And they are a completely different animal. I think a cup is probably your best bet this year. Probably FA Cup is probably your best bet. But I think if you continue to progress as good as what you are doing next season, I can definitely see you challenging.
Right, guys, let's get into it a little bit. Philip, you and me are going to go into more depth with it tomorrow, of course, with the post-match show tomorrow. Look, we are going to talk about the referees and VAR decisions in a minute. But very quickly, your thoughts on the referee, Jack, and then who was your man of the match? Who was your thought on the referee, and who was your man of the match yesterday?
Do you know what? I had a couple of players in mind that I was going to go for, and I went for Kulusevski. And the reason I went for him is because he's had a little bit of a difficult start with the system and obviously been worked out how he sort of like doing the same thing, cutting in on the left and just sort of doing the same thing. And he's really trying to adapt his game to do different things with the ball. He works so hard off the ball. He is one of the hardest working players off the ball in the league. He tried many different things yesterday. He tried coming in on the left, coming in on the right, coming into the centre. He done many different things, and he took the goal with his right foot and really buried it really well. And I sort of was torn between obviously him and Richie because of obviously what Richie's been through. But I sort of went for him because he'd had such a difficult few games at the beginning and he was getting a lot of criticism. So I went with Kulusevski yesterday. I think he played really, really well.
I agree with you on that. Philip, refereeing, we are going to get into that. We've quickly got the rest of the Premier League to go through. But there is a question. Who was your man in the match yesterday? Would you have given it to Richie? Would you agree with Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Basuma had a great game too, but purely for the week that was in it for him and the difficulties he encountered and is now getting over them, I'm going to give it to Richie. I know he wasn't there for that long, but there was a real symbolism for what he did. He needed a goal. He got his goal. Now watch him kick on from there. So that's why I'm going to give it to Richie. Although very hard to pick a man in the match because there were so many good performances. There wasn't a bad performance in the Spurs team yesterday, not one.
No,
he assisted Kulusevski as well, Philip. So he made a massive difference in the game. Like the substitutions during were made a little bit later than we may have liked, but Postecoglou said that during his post-match press conference that he was aware that there was going to be quite a lot of injury time. So
Yeah.
like we there was 15 minutes injury time. So he said he thought there'd be about 10 minutes. So he was aware that they was going to get 20 minutes and they got 25 minutes. And the substitutions that were made were very, very well thought of because Perisic delivers the ball in. Richie's the man that gets on the end of them with his headers or however he might finish it. And then Brennan Johnson was just a different dynamic. So I think that disrupted the Sheffield United defence so that they weren't able to adapt to the changes that we'd made because it was completely different to the front three that were on there for the previous 80 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's what threw them. And then obviously, yeah, from there and onwards, once we got the equaliser, I just knew I just had that feeling. I thought, I know we're going to get the winner.
Yeah, that's so true. We've got Colin Turner Phillips, and I hope we don't get Gabriel. Don't do his antics against us next week, constantly holding up some part of his anatomy, making out he's injured, though foul means embarrassing. That's true. He also says it's one of the worst. It's one of the worst displays from a professional referee. Totally unacceptable. Philip, we are going to get on.
The game. He lost the game completely.
Yeah, we are going to get on, regardless of X, Y, Z, etc., etc. We just celebrate current form, and which is, 4 wins and a bounce, unbeaten in 5, and we've won our last 4. So we're ready.
Best starts since 1965.
Yeah,
58.
Just before you move on, I just want to say, obviously, I'll give you my man of the match. My man of the match was Basuma.
Yeah, he was mine as well. Colin, I agree with that. I thought he was fantastic yesterday.
For the 90 minutes, Basuma was the man of the match, but just for the last 20, Richie forgot it for me,
Okay. Now, very quickly, we're going to Man City, West Ham. West Ham took the lead in that, Philip, and you kept telling me during the watch along yesterday, West Ham are 1-0 up, Dermot. West Ham 1-0 up, which they were. But Man City do what champions always do, come back and win. Very quickly, Philip, we'll just run through these last few games before we get into the questions we got for tonight. Easy win for Man City, do you think, Philip?
Looks like it. 704 passes. No, I didn't see any of this match now, to be honest. But when you look at West Ham at 30 clearances and City only have 5, it looks to me as if West Ham took the lead, probably against the run of play, and City ground them down, as they always do in the second half. And, won convincingly in the end. So.
Yeah, that's true. Jack, Newcastle 1, Brentford 0. Is Newcastle now back on track, do you think, for the rest of the season? Got their sort of season back on track with that win?
I'm not convinced by that, to be honest with you. I think they're sort of, there was such high standards set last season and the way that they played, and they kept to very much the same 11. And I was like looking into it again, and when their defence is disrupted in any way whatsoever, they struggle. And I also believe that it's gonna, again, when the Champions League start. Did they get Yeah, they got Champions League, didn't they? Yeah. When the Champions League starts, it's gonna test them because they've never been there. But I think they'll have a good season. I just think that they've sort of had a bit of a dodgy start. But I'm actually thinking that I don't think they're gonna finish in the top 4 this year or 5. No. I really don't.
Yeah, that's true. Very quickly, Colin, Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0, ball fest. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then, of course, you did the watch along to this. Everton 0, Arsenal 1. Did Arsenal deserve the win, or do you think Everton were unlucky?
No, I think Arsenal deserved the win, but I mean, if Arsenal play like that next week against your lot, they're going to get absolutely smashed because they were terrible. Honestly, it was such a boring game. I was falling asleep watching it.
There you go. And of course, tomorrow, Philip, It is. Look, we got it 0-0, but it is Forest against Burnley, 8:15 kickoff. Where do you think? Where do you think this will go? Where do you?
Tight game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Burnley get a point there. I think a draw. I think Burnley will get a point at that game. And although Forest are settling in, Forest are doing okay. I know they were 2-0 up against United and lost, but no, I think that'll be a 1-1 draw.
Yeah. Well, look, that is the Premier League for you. That is the results. Now we're going to go. We've got questions here, Philip. And look, we've done the two. Look, we've done the time wasting. Now, Philip, look for me. Apart from the Spurs game, I think refereeing this season has been absolutely abysmal. VAR, I don't know what it's brought in for. I think it's supposed to be there to help the referees. Now, you look at the Man United game. That goal should have stood from Holland. Holland. Is that what you call him? Holland? Hoyland. His goal should have stood. Tottenham, Sheffield United keeper should have been sent off. We should have had a Stonewall penalty. And also, Brennan Johnson's goal should have stood as well. If you're not sure, Philip, you have to give it to the attacking side. That was what the offside rule was before. The old rule, if you're not sure, you give the benefit of the doubt to the attacking side. Can you please tell me? Yeah, but can you please tell me what is VAR for if it's not? I mean, the refereeing standards are abysmal, aren't they? They're really unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, okay. If there's I think it should be. Arsene Wenger made the suggestion that the attacker should be given the benefit of the doubt in a tight offside decision. Like if you're marginally in front of the defender, you're not. There's no body. There's no kind of full body width between you. Just maybe half your body or your body. It should be let go and should be played onside. But they're not doing that. I mean, Brennan Johnson's toenail was offside yesterday, and it was given offside. The penalty. I mean, my God, a Stonewall penalty not given. And then I always thought it was an automatic red card for goalkeeper to handle outside the area.
Yeah,
but apparently not. So the referees should be able to make decisions about penalties and handball very easily. VAR and offside is a little bit more difficult, but the linesman has a quick. I feel sorry for the linesman. He has a split second to put his flag up, right? And if I'm beginning to wonder now, are the linesman, when a linesman's decision goes to VAR and it's proved that he's wrong, is that a black mark against him on his report? Do you know where I'm coming from? There's the referee's assessor sitting in the crowd. He must have had fun yesterday at Spurs. I'd say he's still writing his report. But are the linesmen under the same pressure as referees? Because they're the ones who can ultimately make the decisions that make or break a match. And I just wonder, there's a couple of ones yesterday with Brennan especially, and there was another game I watched. I can't remember what it was now. It was a very, very tight offside given. Yeah, it was the United game. It was the United one. I mean, that to me was a goal. So I just don't know. I used to give out for the likes of Mike Dean and Howard Webb as referees, but at least they were good referees. They didn't always get it right.
Hang on. I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you there. Mike Dean was a muppet.
I'm only using him as an example, Dermot. He's better than the crowd that we have at the minute. He wasn't great, but he's better than the ones we have now.
And that was the referee. Yeah, I know what you're getting at.
Peter Brooks shouldn't be refereeing in the Championship, never mind the Premiership.
No, and that was the referee. I was the referee.
On refs.
That was who I was trying to think of yesterday, Philip. That was the name I was trying to think of yesterday. Mike Dean. I couldn't think of his. He done the podcast with Simon Jordan. But Jack, look, we this season alone, I could probably count on both hands how many mistakes VAR referees have made. And I'm going to love Column's comment on the Man United game with the referee there. I mean, that for me is shocking.
Yeah, can I just ask a quick question to Philip? Yeah. Philip, where did you see the Brennan Johnson one? Because they didn't show no lines during the.
No, they did. I'm only going on I froze the screen on the replay and showed where his leg was. It was marginal. It really was marginal,
Well, okay, that's fine.
He was kind of leaning forward, but his feet were more or less with the other guy's feet,
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, it's just they didn't draw any lines for it or anything, so
No,
I didn't
no,
see.
they
Didn't see.
No,
But
I
anyway.
froze the TV. Watch it. I
Yeah,
froze the TV.
yeah. I wondered where. I wondered because when I saw it, I thought, oh, it did look. I personally thought it looked offside, but I didn't see no lines or anything. So I was like, I didn't really get to see the how close it was, but obviously you did. So I just wanted to know. Yeah, the refereeing this season is. I've had this conversation with my sister, and it's a really hard job to referee games. But what needs to ultimately happen, I won't keep it too long, is that what they need to do is they need to stamp their authority on the game early. If they stamp their authority on the game early, and then the players will then know that they're not gonna mess about or play act up with the ref and all that. So it's a hard job being a referee, and they come in for a lot of criticism. But like I say, it's a difficult job to be a referee. They've now got VAR getting involved, which is not really helping them because we had a decision yesterday with Madison, which was a stonewall penalty, and VAR took 30 seconds to say it weren't a penalty, and then they got Sonny penalty against Brentford when he actually kicked Sonny, and then they're taking 6 to 7 minutes to make a decision on an offside. If it's taking that long to make a decision, I agree with Philip that you should give the benefit of the doubt to the striker, as it always used to be. That so it's a difficult one. It's just the referees need to up their standards in terms of stamping their authorities on the game in order for the games to flow better. That's what I think myself. And there has been so many different from VAR and referees this season that it's getting out of hand. That something needs to be done about it, and they're also constantly changing the rules. That one season is, oh, you got to do this, then the next season it's like, right, you need to clamp down on this, and the referees are sort of like trying to implement what they've been told, and then they're coming in for the criticism for what they're doing, but then like it's a difficult one because like I say, like they're sort of like one season is this, then the next season is that, and it's hard for them to sort of try and keep up with the changes all the time.
It is, and also, Colin. Look, I've got a few comments to go through here, Colin. But look, we saw the Man United game yesterday where United should have got an equaliser. I've just got an Arsenal fan trying to wind me up here. I'll get me on back in the bogger in a minute. Look, I can't stop laughing what he just said. Philip, will you just take over for a minute?
Where are we? I've seen Sunday League refs who are better than
our
the
question
refs
to Colin about the Man United VAR. I want to get his thoughts on the VAR.
Yeah.
Give us a minute here.
What's your reckon with that decision? I mean, was it bad or what?
Oh, you're about Rasmus's goal.
Yeah, Rasmus. Yeah.
To be honest with you, from what I've seen, like I've seen all the highlights and everything in the game, and I've frozen. I've had a look. To me, they got the decision right because the ball went over the line. The ball was out of play before Rashford hooked it back in. So I can't really say anything about that, because it did seem they got it right. To be honest with you, but in this whole thing about the referees, there's so much inconsistency from every single match. I mean, obviously Spurs yesterday were some shocking decisions. Even in game today, the game I did, the Arsenal game I did today, Eddie Nketiah got called. Arsenal scored, but he got called offside. Martinelli scored it because Eddie Nketiah was offside. But in the replay that show, you clearly see Beto, Everton's new striker, play the ball backwards. You see him clearly do it.
You do.
And then I think the Gabriel or Saliba, what I can't remember, one of them probably gave away a penalty. He put his foot out, tried to bring it back in, but there's still contact. Now, there's been penalties awarded for that all season already. So why not? Why is it not consistent? And as for the whole offside thing as well, from what I've been told by a very close friend who works within the FA, they are supposed to be doing striker advantage this season. That is what they're supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be striker advantage again.
Yeah, I heard that.
Name me one game you have seen strikers advantage.
None.
And do you know, I found the insult yesterday. Do you remember after the penalty wasn't given to Spurs? James Maddison put his hands on his head like that. As if to say, what? And he got booked.
Yeah.
For doing that.
Yeah, I know. It's a disgrace, mate.
It's
a disgrace.
Just want to go through some of the comments here, Wayne Bonner. I've seen Sunday League refs who are better than our ref yesterday. He lost control early and never regained it. That's true. Tequila, big up Tequila 3. I bet Tequila's drinking a lot Tequila after that Tottenham game yesterday. Showed me and Philip over some tequila as well. I'm sure we'll take it. VAR have always been a bit a wank, though. That's true. And he says, good evening, chappies. Guys, the last question now on this Premier League review. Philip, I'll start with you. I'm going to start and then I'll go around the houses and I'm going to end with you. Now, my view on this, that Poch will get sacked before Ten Hag. That's my view. But maybe you guys have a different thought. Oh, no, sorry. I've done it wrong. Sorry. I've done it wrong. Sorry. Okay, just very quickly, one word answers. Player of the week. For me, Richarlison. Philip?
Oh, God. I'll give it to him. Yeah, purely what he's been through. Yeah.
Jack, one word. Who's your player of the week?
Same as you guys after what he's been through.
Yeah, Colin?
Yeah, I'll go with Richarlison.
Yeah. Team of the week. I'm actually going to go for Brighton. I know we won yesterday, but to go to Old Trafford and do what they did to Man United and the start they've made to the season, 4 wins and 1 defeat. I mean, it's been amazing. So my team of the week is Brighton. Philip, who's your team of the week?
Yeah. Brighton as well, yeah.
Jack, team of the week?
It's got to be Brighton, mate. Go Old Trafford and 3-1. It's, and the way they play, it's Brighton all day long.
Yeah. Colin?
Plymouth Argyle. No. It's Brighton.
Oh, God, can somebody please disagree what we're saying? Now, I like this one. This is Philip's little Wallies of the weekend. I am going for the referee of Tottenham versus Sheffield United. He was the Wally of the weekend. Philip?
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, it was to be. The poor fellow must be.
Don't tell me.
No, I mean, it's pretty obvious he was now. He was the worst referee I've seen in a long time, so he had to win.
Jack?
I know you don't want everyone to agree, but I mean, I wouldn't even I'd call him a lot worse than a Wally. It was him from yesterday. It was a joke.
We have to be. You, Colin, who's Wally of the weekend?
Scott McTominay.
There you go. Now, VAR cock-up of the week. I'm actually going to go for... No, I'm actually going for the Man United equaliser that should have been given. I think that was blatant. Yeah, it was blatant.
The ball was out of play.
No, not that one. Sorry, not that one. Philip, I can't remember. Go on. Who's your VAR cock-up of the week? Sorry, I'll go.
God. No, do you know what? I'm not even going to make it a football one. I'm going to make it was a rugby cock-up. I know this is off the ball, but in the match between France and who are they playing? France and whoever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. A French fella did exactly what an English guy did in the first match. He got sent off. Went in with a shoulder, right? Got a yellow card. They looked at it and they left it as a yellow card. And the commentators were absolutely incensed. Should have been a red card. I thought rugby got it right, but no, they cocked it up this week as well. So.
My VAA cock-up of the weekend is actually Brennan Johnson's goal. That's what I meant to say. That should have stood. Right. That for me was a goal. And the penalty. And none the sending off. The whole Tottenham Sheffield United referee and VAR were cock-up. Just call it the whole game. Jack, what's your VAA cock-up of the week?
Well, obviously, with Philip saying about Brennan Johnson, I'm gonna go with that over the Maddison penalty. So I'll go with that.
Colin, cock-up of the week, VAR cock-up of the week.
I'm going to go with the one that happened today in the Arsenal game, the Beto passing it to Nketiah and them calling him offside.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just in the middle of killing Daddy Longlegs. That's my job at the moment. We seem to be infested by them. I don't know why. I start streaming and they start coming into my computer. So at the moment, I'm killing Daddy Longlegs. Sorry, any Daddy Longleg lovers out there. Don't report me to the RSPCA for killing the Daddy Longleg.
They want to be on the stream.
Yeah, they probably do. Manager watch. Sort of leads me into the last. Yeah, it sort of leads me into the last question, Philip. Rarely. Let me get the question up. Where is it now? Where did I put it? Sorry. Will Ten Hag or Poch be the first manager to get the sack? What do you reckon out of them two?
Poch. Ten Hag is going nowhere. No, unless he completely fouls it up, he's safe.
Jack, Ten Hag or Poch?
Ten Hag is not going to go anywhere, like Philip said, and like Colin said, he's got the backing of the hierarchy. He's not going to go anywhere, so it will be Poch. And when it's Poch, Dermot, I am going to be so happy.
Tequila is saying to me, Dermo's trying to kill Sar. Harsh, mate. I meant Daddy Longlegs, not Sar. Mr. E says, Paul Hickenbottom slating the referee didn't make much sense considering we were denied a clear cut penalty and his team were wasting time from the start.
Yeah,
Tequila, he sucks. We got Mystic says Ten Hag. He thinks he's going to get the set.
No way.
Poch since Chelsea love a good sacking. He also says Poch is a snake, so he's deserved in my opinion. And Misi says, I think Ten Hag will go if the result like this continues. Look, Colin, who would be the first manager to go, Poch or Ten Hag?
Poch 100%. Ten Hag's got money in the bank. He's brought a trophy to United. He's got time. Whether that changes if United get took over, if the new owners want to get rid of him and bring their own in, then so be it. We can't stop him doing that. But as it stands right now, Ten Hag is going nowhere. Yeah.
Okay, and then Tequila says, okay, not a snake, but I'm still annoyed at him. Well, he's dead to me and Philip.
He's a snake. He's definitely a snake, Tequila. He's borderline Judas.
Yeah. Well, Philip, the man with wisdom and everything else. The man has seen football in the good days, the bad days, probably even when they played it with cavemen. Do you think...
Go back that far. Jeez.
I'm sure you're around, Philip, when the dinosaurs were playing Tottenham, or Dinosaur United were playing, winning leagues.
Yeah, they're playing your local team. I heard you were on it.
I was, yeah. You and me were playing against. We were opposition managers back in the day before that big asteroid hit us. Wiped us out, and we got reincarnated into this. Seriously, out of all the Premier League, Philip, who do you think will be the first manager to get sacked out of the whole Premier League?
Premier League, oh God,
Stephen Kenny.
It'll probably be someone like I would say Everton won't sack. What do you call him?
Dyche.
Dyche. But I'd say he must be under pressure. I think Wolves. No, Wolves. I know Gary O'Neill's only there 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But he could be under pressure as well. But it's hard to pick. It could be anyone in that lower league that could be gone.
Yeah.
There could be any reason. I find it very hard to pick just at this moment in time.
Colin Turner says Kane's wife hasn't moved to Germany, so will there be a twist at the end of the season?
England,
No.
Harry won't like living on his own.
Yeah, would buy him back at half the fee at the end of the season. I would.
No.
I don't think we need Harry Kane. I'm sorry.
Nah,
No.
mate. Harry's finished. No more Harry.
No.
Hang
don't
on,
need him.
hang on, hang on, guys.
We're a team
Hang
now.
on, no, Jack. Hang on.
Sorry.
I'm hearing rumblings from Kildare. Hang on. Yeah, is it? Yeah, it's Dave Harris. He's rumbling. Breaking news. There's an earthquake of a 10.2 magnitude from Kildare in Newbridge. It's Dave Harris picking up his Thor hammer and sending a lightning bolt to where you live, Jack. That's breaking news. It's a 10.2 magnitude earthquake in Newbridge. It's Dave Harris becoming Thor to come after you because of that hurricane.
Mate, he's gone, mate. He's finished with us. I don't want him back. We're a team now without him.
Yeah,
we're not
true.
We're not Harry Kane FC anymore.
No. Philip, are you there? Just very quickly. What's
No,
coming
I
up
have
this
to
week?
leave. Actually, I got a train to meet at 9:00. I have to go. So.
All right. Well, look, me and Philip, I plugged the channels what we're doing this week, Philip. But thank you for coming on. I tried to do it within the 5 minutes, so I do apologise.
No problem. Listen, I'll see you later, lads. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
I'll
give you a call in about half an hour. I'll give you a call about half an hour, Philip, or I'll give you a call in half an hour, an hour.
I'll give you a buzz when I'm free. Got something on after 9, so I'll give you a buzz later on. Okay.
Give us a buzz later on.
See you later.
I'll speak to you later. Right, take
care, Philip, mate.
Take care.
Thanks,
The boss. There's the
Bye.
boss now. As the boss leaves the building, there he is, the chief, as I call him. He's gone. Let me take him off there. He's gone.
Now the mayhem starts.
Now the mayhem start with the show's finishing, so I've got to behave myself. I've got to cook my dinner for me. My missus. Colin, what's coming up on the Full-Time Sports Network? We've got a lot of things kicking off this week with the North London Derby, haven't we? Between our channel and your channel. I think I'm going on to an Arsenal channel like sometime this week, so it should be fun.
Yeah. You'll be joining one of our other sister channels, the Armory TV, with a very nice Arsenal fan who you have met, with Bobby. Very down to earth person, but I'm interested to see that one. Obviously, we've got loads of stuff coming up. We've got match reactions for a lot of games coming up. We've got next week's going to be a very busy week. Let's just put it that way. We've got that many shows coming out. Best way to do is to make sure you're over there and subscribe and hit your notification bell.
Yeah. Elvis has left the building. I'm going to keep that one, Tequila. If you're in tomorrow at 4:00, please put that in because I want to put that one to Philip as well. And it says, "See you, Phil." Jack, everyone, please go over to the Tequila says, Dermo, are you going to hang out with Robbie? No. Cannot stand AFTV. Don't like it. Don't want to watch it. I think, look, I'm going to put it out there. I think Arsenal TV, it's not a YouTube channel I would watch. Even if I wanted to go on there after we beat them next week. I see the argument he had with Ray Parlour during the week. And I just want to ask you both a question on this. I'll start with you, Colin, then I go Jack before we plug my channel, our channel, and then Jack plug whoever you want to plug. Do you feel, Colin, that the likes of ALT, was Ray Parlour right to say that Arsenal TV prefer Arsenal to lose than to Arsenal to win?
I mean, I don't want to offend anybody, but
no, neither do I. But I'm just asking: was he right in what he's saying? Or
I think he is. Robbie? I think he is right. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat. I think he is right in what he said because if you look at the reactions that they've done before, if you look at the views, every time they lose and when somebody kicks off,
Mm.
the views are a lot more. So I think, they kind of do want it just for the clicks, if I'm going to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not trying to offend anybody.
No, neither was
but
I.
it just seems that way.
Are you surprised, Jack, that an ex-Arsenal player? I mean, AFTV is a very big YouTube channel, and it is Arsenal's main YouTube channel, basically. Are you surprised that an ex-player would be attacking their own YouTube channel like that?
I'm not surprised. I agree with Colin really, because they sort of like they get so much coverage when they lose games that it's like it doesn't make sense, does it?
Mm.
But yeah, I agree with Colin. It's not like they enjoy. I wouldn't say it would be like they enjoy losing, but
Mm.
they relish to criticize and to be able to, make all these arguments and, get previously Arteta out and this and that. And yeah, I think they sort of really they sort of like that. It's weird, but yeah, I do agree with it.
Look. No disrespect to AFTV, to do what to do. Not my cup of tea, but you give him credit where credit's due. Colin, he has turned it into a multi-million-pound channel, hasn't he? Really, for where it started. So fair play to him.
He has, fair play. I think a lot of us wish we were there.
Yeah, we wish we were there. And look, it is funny to watch them when we beat them. That is probably one of the places you go. As Tequila says, oh, it was fun to watch a few years ago when they lost up at St James's Park, and of course it was.
Whenever they lose, I always watch it. It's just hilarious, mate.
And he says it was fun to see Robbie trying to argue with Simon Jordan. Now that is something. It is on YouTube. Simon Jordan ties them up in knots. That's all I'm going to say. I'd love to get Simon Jordan on here. I'd love to get Daniel Levy on here, actually, to tell him he's got a lovely bald head and does he have a white cat and does he like being called Blofeld? Every time together. But anyway, Jack, who do you want to plug? Where can people find you, and who do you want to
plug? I don't have my own channel, but obviously I'm going to plug my sister's channel, which is Spurs Between the Lines. So get over there and subscribe, and she's got she's got quite a lot of different content coming up, and a little bit of variation. Just plug that. And I also wanted to just quickly ask you, you're doing the Ronaldo Messi podcast, aren't you?
Yeah, we are gonna. We won't be doing it this Friday because it is the North London derby. So we're gonna put it off to the following Friday. We are gonna have the podcast debate. Give Colin an extra week to prepare for that because he's coming on for that.
I'm prepared. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
I'd really like to come on for that. Do you know? Yeah. Do you have any idea what time you might be doing that one?
Be 9 o'clock it's always 9 o'clock on a Friday evening.
I'd really like to come on for that one if that's all right.
Yeah, no problem. We'll sort that out. Of course, me and Philip are back tomorrow at 4 with Newsbeat. Spurs. I forgot what the name of the show is. I will tell you now. It is called Electric Spurs Are Back. That's the name of the show tomorrow. Newsbeat. Then, of course, Tuesday, we've got Newsbeat again. We've got 2 new shows starting off this week. We've got the Champions League podcast as well on Thursday to go over. Me and Philip, and maybe Colin as well, or maybe Jack will come on to go over the Champions League group match ones.
I won't be here for that one. I don't want to talk about Bayern humiliating Man United 10-0.
Well, can you not just come on for the crack so we can take the piss out of you?
You've done enough.
Colin, to be fair, they ain't actually been performing that well.
I tell you, Bayern Munich ain't all that. I'm telling you that now.
They ain't been performing.
I think you're forgetting, guys. I think you forget. Look at Manchester United.
Oh, fair enough.
Look, can I just put that out there? I have a lot of time for Colin. and me and Colin do get on. It's only a bit of banter, isn't it, Colin? It's
It
nothing
is, yeah.
ever serious. And I like Jack as well. We all love banter. This is what football's about. It's about opinions. It's about banter. It's about having fun. We had a meeting the other day, me, Colin, and Bobby, and I think what was it? 5 minutes was serious. The extra hour and a half, what was just pure banter, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
the be-
literally all of us taking the complete mick out of each and every single thing we could possibly think of.
Yeah, it was the most funniest thing, Jack, I have ever. It was brilliant. But please look out for that. Bobby's coming onto our channel as well this week for the North London debate as well. We're doing that Thursday. Me and Philip are going to do a pre-record of the history of the North London derby, and of course the podcast with Mr. Dave Harris on Friday. What does the North London derby mean to you as a Spurs fan? What it means to me, what it means to Philip, what it means to Dave. So we've all got coming up. Saturday we've got Around the Grounds as well, where we go over all the games of the weekend, which is now going to be jointly, I think, on Saturday on the Full-Time Sports Network as well. And then on Sunday, the watch-along, the big one, the game we all been waiting for, where Tottenham go to Arsenal, give Arteta a wedgie, take his sweets, take home his lunch money and the 3 points back to White Hart Lane. And, of course, that will be shown live over there as well, as our partnership grows between our channel and Full-Time Sports Network. So please like and subscribe here, like and subscribe there. Go to Mia's channel, like and subscribe there as well. We've got Talk on Ball as well. Big up Talk on Ball. Hope you're right. It says big up. Welcome. You just got in at the end of the show, but welcome anyway. And he says, just sub to your new channels, guys. Well, there you go. Big up Tequila. Thank you so much. That's it, guys. That's the end of another Premier League review. Absolutely been an interesting match week 5. Match week 6 is going to be even more interesting. Can we beat the old Gunners? Of course we can, because we're Tottenham Hotspur. Can Man United? Who Man United got next? Man United got Villa. Can they beat the Villas? Who knows? Would Ten Hag still be charged? Would Podge still be in charge at Chelsea? Would Jack have his voice? And will Colin come on this show ever again? Who knows? But anyway, on that might have bombshell. Oh, one thing I forgot. Colin, what we've got something special coming up on Full-Time Sports Network from next week, haven't we?
Do we?
We're going into Formula 1, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are going into Formula 1.
Yeah.
So make sure you stay tuned for that, because hopefully next week's race is going to be as good as this week's.
Yeah, and this was supposed to be the week we were making our debut on the THFC F1 Till We Die and the Full-Time Sports Network, but it didn't work out. So me and Philip are going to do a race report for that, which we will be putting up on both channels. And I love the thumbnail you done for us, Philip, Colin. It's so funny. I think it's brilliant. You guys, you have to see it. It's the best thumbnail I have seen ever. It's Philip's head on Lewis Hamilton's body. I mean, there you go. I mean, what more could you want? But look, thank you all for watching. Thank you. God bless you all. And of course, we always finish with Fred and Jack. As you're out, very quickly, I've got to do one more thing. See, without Philip, I go all over the place. Hang on, where is it? Where is it now? There we go. This my mugshot, Ross. Please get over it. If you want to have your mugshot taken, please get down to your local American courthouse and have your picture like this gentleman here. Does that look like Ten Hag after the match, Colin?
Let me just cover up his hair. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. There is a bit of fun we always have at the end of the show. We always do. And we always end up with Fred. Who wants to do Fred this week? Jack or Colin? Who wants to do
Go on,
Fred?
Jack.
What's Fred up to this week?
Who's Fred?
All right, Colin, you do it then. Jack can see what happens.
Okay, so this here is Dermo when the final goal went in yesterday?
Oh no, Fred.
Yeah, here we go. On that breaking bombshell, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe on all channels on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Twitch. Please like Column's channel, like our channel. Please get over to Mia's channel as well. Hit the like button over there. Whatever you do, come on, you Spurs. In Big Ange we trust.
you